What's up, peoples? As good as this little Caesar lettuce looks, it looks exactly like this outside. Uh, hey, TNT moms. Feel like I just saw you. I'm good question. I'm about to put some seeds in a tray and get started. Get some more things started for the season. So I think I want to be a little bit aggressive with this. I know it's getting hot, but the stuff that I have out there, I planted it in a way where I want to put higher stuff in front of it, so it's not. I don't think it's gonna bolt. Um, let's see. Yeah, this is more of a fall. A lot of the brassicas are definitely gonna be for the fall, but I just want to do something that's like very densely planted. It's been nice to go outside and get it's been nice to go outside and get like just go get some lettuce. I call it I don't want to have the ops salad, so I use the containers from the store, and then and then I take that container and I go fill it up in like a couple seconds, and then I come back and ask my wife whether or not how much would this cost. And it's like for me, it's a couple seconds of work. So, but I hope everybody's doing well. I just definitely needed to go live for the day, and that's what I'm doing. So nothing crazy. I had set up my table earlier. I was filling seed trays. I was a little bored, so I needed to do this. I got some seeds started mix. I didn't make my own today, and just figured I'd just chat with whoever's hanging out. I think it's like day 127 of this challenge, no challenge. Um, Thanks for the like, by the way. Just had an awesome outing for my niece's birthday. Got some K-pot, some Korean food, so that was awesome. That was cool. Good times, but it's one of those days where you get home too late and the kids gotta go to school the next day, and now they have a real reason to say they tired because we caused it. So, but the mission was accomplished. Uh, so anyone in the chat, including TNT moms, is there anything that you're looking forward to planting this part of the season? I'm starting to see a lot of videos of people saying plant this in June. Um, I'm on both sides of that. I don't necessarily want to give advice, but I know people are really smart about the content that they push because there are people like looking for it. Okay, no, not really. What's up, Ray? I'm on my mode right now is purely experimental, and I'm trying to really understand more about growing row crops and growing them in a very dense market gardening way. Planting whatever I find in the stores this weekend. Okay. Well, you know what? That reminds me. Um, since most of the big box stores, since they suck with things like blueberries, I think when I was at Lowe's last week, I saw some beautiful blueberry bushes that are likely going to be on clearance because no one's going to buy them. And that happens every year, and then that stuff goes half price. And I don't think there's much value to them sending the stuff back. I'm really confused about perennials. Um, I just think that we undervalue perennials. Not we, but the prices of it. It just doesn't. It seems odd to me that you pay, let's say for a decent sized tree, $40. You pay $40 one time. In most cases, you can just plant this unless you are negligent. There's a lot of negligent people out there. Raise your hand if you're if you're a negligent person when it comes to planting. Um, you could really mess it up or not understand like what can you do to mess this up. You could plant a plant that doesn't like moisture. You could plant it in a really soggy area. Vice versa, a plant that loves doesn't like moisture, or a plant that likes moisture, and you plant it in a dry space. A plant that likes shade, um, definitely earlier on before it becomes a real tree, and you don't understand that. I have a test, unintentional test going on right now with different pawpaw trees, as I still learn what a pawpaw is, and still have yet to taste a pawpaw fruit. I did get a flower this year, and I was told by my wife, who watched the channel, that you need two different types of pawpaws. So who knows that pawpaw? Yo, thanks. Peace, Ray. So, um, my experiment with the pawpaws is that based on me watching a lot of videos, I'm aware that pawpaws like to be an understory in the early parts of its grow, first years, so it could tolerate a good amount of shade. But then it likes to poke through the canopy. So I have areas where it is no shade, partial shade, a lot of shade, and I'm watching the differences of the growth patterns or the amount of growth over the course of the year. And it's really interesting to watch that. I'm not doing any documentation, but that's more or less my style, is just watch and observe and log in my brain, which is functioning for now. For now. We did get a nice rain today. I think I hear some more. We did get a nice rain. Oh, I gotta go make sure the chicken pen is closed up. So I'm gonna have to put on that flashlight on my head. Well, I did ask you guys a question about what you're looking forward to planting. Um, in years past, my my favorite crops were kale and lettuce. Things that I liked, a lot of things. Tomatoes, so different types of tomatoes. I like things that I can easily go to the garden, you know, cut them and use them like instantly. Things you may not, you don't have to cook, or you don't mind not cooking. That's really my go-to. And that grow well without much effort. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. I'm still learning this, but my seed starting mix, it has a nice, kind of smells like that black cow. So I know it is a good amount of manure in here. the box says, the bag says that it's made from chicken manure is like one of the main ingredients. Which I wish I had their recipe because I got a ton of chicken manure. Um, and I just went and bought something so I don't overwork, and I just get this done. But it's so woody. It has so much. I just sometimes it just. I know I'm not crazy. I know that the product that you buy in the store, these bags, and this is not as bad as others, but still a little not that great. Um, so yeah, not gonna be on here that long unless we get some really good energy in here. So, like I was saying, I like things I could just throw in an omelet real quick, make a salad real quick, something I could saute up real quick. Not much preparation, things that you could kind of just pull off the tree, and if I want to sit out there and eat it, I'll eat it. I did see I kind of want to just let it do its thing. I had a horseradish that put out some seeds, and when I say it's the biggest leaf I've ever seen, like on a horseradish, it's huge. And most of those things they don't taste as good the older the plant is. Usually the young leaves are more nutritious. So who knows what it tastes like? Maybe I'll go for it, but it's huge. I'd say the leaf is easily. It sounds crazy. 2 feet. I think the leaf is 2 foot. I'm still. That's one of the plants that I'm still like learning about. Obviously, we know how to identify horseradish in a like from a spiciness. It's just something that gets thrown out there, but to actually grow it, and it's different. It's different. You definitely don't need that much. You do not need that much of it. Brother Eric was. I was on stream not too long ago, and Brother Eric had a. That's from Home to Homestead. He had a, a short about identifying a plant, and as I was walking through talking about my different plants, and it's like more of a perennial ecosystem that I created near my chicken run. Um, there was horseradish there. He was like, "Show that leaf again." It's like, yeah, and it definitely was the video I saw him, and I was so naive about. I actually want to plant this in the garden. I don't want to put this in a tray. I don't know about the spinach. The rabbits look like they really like the spinach, so I don't know about that. So I'll sit here for a little bit and decide what I'm gonna do. I got these trays on discount, so it was it was just about $3.99. So I went with it. I filled this one with a dry. When this stuff was dry, it was the first one I did. Super rusty, so I just said, okay, let me fill it dry. And then once I figured, you know what, I need to mix this all up. And I kind of like these trays because I'm always trying to create that scenario where you have water and you have a tray that is a good size that you can easily lift up. I mean, I still suck at this early phase. So at least for me, it looks like, oh, that's a good deal. Um, if you just joined the stream, what's up, man? What's up out there? What's up, peoples? I'm just kind of hanging out, talking, chilling, debating about what I should be planting filling some trays, and that's pretty much it. If people have some feedback, things that they're planting and growing, maybe we can have a conversation. Always open to advice. Uh, you know, I do streaming outside in the garden. I stream my chickens. I don't really do my worms yet. Um, a lot of it, I'm starting to realize that my content is not definitely not to teach anyone anything. Not to say you can't learn from what I show, but that's just not why I'm here. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to share. Um, I'm a guy. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm from the city, and not that it's a unique story. A lot of people have that story, and I ended up moving out to the suburbs, but I kind of live like I'm in the country. At least I have that mindset, and I'm very resourceful, and I'm still discovering and learning about the things that I like and the things that, in one hand, I feel a lot of things that I was like lied to about, or information that's just hidden from the common person. When I discover it, I'm just like, you know, like every time I have to explain to people that I don't refrigerate my eggs, it's that moment. Like, there's only two types of people in the world: those who refrigerate their eggs and those who don't. So you choose who you are. But I know where my eggs come from. I know where my eggs come from, and I'm proud of that. In fact, tomorrow I think I'm gonna have to double down on my egg security plan and move one of these broody hens. I got another one, and move her. I don't think I think it's a downside to the weather being more extreme. Um, I haven't seen other people talk about it the same way, but when it comes to the chickens, I really don't know how I would do this if I didn't work from home, because I'm always reacting to conditions that seem to be more fragile. It definitely seems to be more fragile with the weather. It could get hot, like really hot. Then it could be not so hot. And the chickens don't seem to be acclimating. They just don't. So it's me that's keeping them happy. And I'm aware of that. I know I'm keeping them happy, but I wonder what would I do, or if I could do anything at all if this were if I were like further along. Like, what if I had a lot more? I think it would be a lot harder to do anything. Um, I have my handful, so it's really not that hard to manage. All right, I did say I wanted to do some chard and some kohlrabi. That's always a fun one. So I'm gonna make a deal with myself that, am I gonna be organized today? Am I gonna write down what is where? Or am I just gonna wait for it to pop up and claim that I know what the leaf is? And I know these two, they kind of have the same seeds. Yeah, I might as well put a little bit of lettuce. It actually pops up pretty fast. So this is a 6x6 tray. So that leaves 36 nodes. Not hard math there. I'm not doing any soaking. It's like prime weather, pretty bright environment. Actually, I lied. The kohlrabi has these tiny, tiny brassica seeds. So let's see if I have any of the tools that I like using. Oh, there we go. Ha. These have become my favorite. These work magic. I guess it's just bamboo, right? Am I gonna care? Okay, this says half inch. Um, I think planting is hard. Like, this is hard. It's a lot easier going to the store, going to get a tray. But when the plants do germinate, there is like a wow factor. Like, oh, you did that. The thing I always come back to with seeds is the the program, so to speak, that seeds, they're so powerful with what, and I've seen Set Apart Gardens have a cool live about this not too long ago. I don't want to mix his words, but it was just about the seeds. Like, it was more about maturity and how things sprout when, we all don't sprout at the same time. But the way that I look at seeds, my angle is more about. I knew I was gonna catch you, Katie. I was gonna catch you one of these days. What's up? Yeah, the way I look at seeds is, you see the difference in the amount of stored energy in seeds when they sprout. It's like insane to think that there's a written instruction on the seed wanting to, or forcing itself to become um, its mature self, and it's amazing to watch. And everything has its own instructions. Uh, oh, you got your car, cool. Need to give me a car. That's cool. How's school going? To anyone still in here. Who knows? Who knows, Katie? Katie, I've been trying to figure out what's been wrong with my lives, but I think I'm gonna just start doing more stuff. Um, the talking head lives are not as, I don't think that they're gonna do much. I've been learning a lot about that. I mean, it's a me thing, but just do stuff. I do stuff already, so that's not, there's nothing to fake there. But it's a lot easier for. I was just talking about you, brother Eric. You must have got my bat signal, man. I was just talking about you. I was talking about the the horse radish again. I got a there's one of them that I have that the leaf, I'm gonna measure it tomorrow. The leaf is about 2 feet. I don't know if I'm gonna eat it, taste it. It's a 2 foot leaf, and just to watch different environments or things kind of go their own way, it's super interesting. As I'm trying to understand the content that why I'm putting out content and what am I doing. A friend of mine was talking to me, actually Missy was talking to me about like, are you showing people stuff in your videos? And when I hear that, I hear like teaching, and I've always had a reserve on the concept of teaching. I don't trust teachers. It's I believe in learning. I don't always believe in teaching. And how I rationalize that is, um teaching is okay, but school is school. Oh, you gotta, yeah, get the algebra out the way. I hear you. I just feel like I love these seeds. I love this is Swiss chard seeds. These are like they almost look fake. Any seed you see like this that looks like it could be in Super Mario, there you could probably soak them, get better results when you soak them. But this is pretty moist. I'm in a really good environment. Um, it's gonna be a lot of light on them, and they want to grow for me. So yeah, I was talking about teaching. Um, I feel like teachers have a responsibility when they're in that position, and I think that that's too much for me. I think not that I would turn my back on my students, but I think that it's more about you going through what you need to go through. Yeah, I'm sort of succession planting for sure. This has been this year, brother Eric is really experimental, and I already learned. I've never really done road like try to plant row crops and be very aggressive, not leave much gaps, like kind of get away from um, what the seed packs are telling you, and go more like market gardening aggression. So I see stuff that needs to come out that's not doing that well, and I want to replace it with stuff, and I want to try to do it plant it as dense as possible. So it is succession. Cameron, Jesus is Lord. Holla at your boy. Just planting here, Cameron. Just planting. So I don't think we should, brother Eric. I don't think we should stop planting. And even for me, even over the winter, I mean, I've been pretty successful when I had like a little greenhouse. Some it wasn't really an official greenhouse, but I had built like a greenhouse topper on one of my planting beds. And when I got very deep into the winter, and then I also was able to get the season started earlier. So I mean, in your climate, there's so many brassicas I don't think would ever die. I mean, you could over like a lot of the brassicas overwinter anyway, but I don't think we should stop. I just don't know enough to know. This is where the gap is, I believe, for me. What follows what and when. Um, some of it is easy Google searches. I'm always the first thing that I do is look up like companion. What's the companion plant for whatever I'm doing, and just understanding those relationships. But until you actually do it, it's like I don't trust the information. You know, like I see a lot of my green cold weather stuff is percolating out there, and it's hot. The sun's been hot, and this stuff is it's not bolting. Um, I'm curious. I'm watching the sun, and I'm seeing not really measuring how much sun they're getting, but I don't know. Everything seems to be doing well. Even the stuff that I'm gonna be taking out, like the broccoli, it bolted because it just got too hot a few days, and I don't see a reason to hang on to it. That's the other thing. Like I'm at that point where oh that's cool, Katie. Yeah, we're on the same ticket at my job. So far, that's the only AI that they'll let us use. But I was saying, I'm at the point where I just I want to fail to succeed. I just want to fail fast at this point. I just want to learn so much about it and house that knowledge and information, just like how um, all of the hand skills that I have, whether you want to call it carpentry, I don't, but whether someone wants to call it carpentry, all of the skills that I have come from failing. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I went out, brother Eric, to that point about. Um, I think the information is good to know, but a lot of it is an edge case. I believe it is true. It is true. That certain things don't want to germinate in certain environments. That's true, but once you kind of get the hang of it, I think you'll be able to make it blend and make it work. And like if you've never heard me say it before, in my field in communications, the rule is you have to know the rule before you break the rule. So it's okay to break the rule once you know it. So you just got to understand, what's going on. Speaking of that, I was thinking about how good your fruit trees, how good your apple trees look, and I've struggled. And granted, I'll just be honest, I don't want to baby any of my trees. I only want the trees that want to be here. If you don't want to be here, see you. So I don't put everything on water. There isn't as much shade. Like I see how yours is, on up against a fence, and that might actually help to stabilize shade. Less walking past it, so compaction is less. But your trees look amazing. A lot of fruit on it, and I feel like I've been there, but I don't know what I did to be there. And now at this point, I'm not there, and it doesn't bother me. I just the thing that's hard to face as a person who's into like being a land steward is the mistakes aren't fixable within a season, right? So once maybe you've always had that success. Maybe what you're planting for your climate just works out. Maybe it's not, maybe it's not you. But I like what you do with the grass, and I don't know anything else with the nutrients and whether you do deep watering. But I'm not there yet. I don't have enough systems because of the size of the land going back, where there are some benefits to not having as much size, because when you start thinking outward, you don't have to support all of that. Whereas I have to support things going up. I got stuff going all the way up to a half acre in the back, and that stuff is way far. So now I need infrastructure just to support those things, to be as healthy. So there was a video, because you listen to people, and it don't always work out. But there was a guy that I was watching. I can still find his video. He planted this massive um, permaculture orchard, and his technique is kind of what I'm talking about, where you only focus on what wants to grow, and you replace what doesn't. But we're talking at a different scale. He had a massive amount of land. He did the in permaculture. There's this technique where I think it's a permaculture technique or it's probably like agroforestry where you have multiple rows of like say trees, and then inside the row you plant that whole row. Like as things progress, when the trees are young, there's enough to grow row crops, cash crops, in between the rows of trees. And then when trees get too big and they shade them out, you've at least gotten the value out of it. So I watch a lot of that stuff, and it made sense. But the hardest part about watching a lot of stuff is that it doesn't scale the same. So we're always looking at, if you look outward, we're looking at someone else's scale, and that ain't gonna get it done. It's just not gonna get it done. So I'm finally at a really good place where I'm just hyper focused on my own inputs and outputs. Um, Not gonna be ignorant to lessons that may be out there for me, but it's time for us to shine. So this is a lot drier than I wanted it to be, but the benefit of this bottom tray, I could put water in there, and it'll get in there once I kind of compact it down enough. These nodes, these are only 16. Uh, I don't really want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put some sunflowers and maybe some corn. I don't know how I would do with any of that. I'm already getting too much attention out there from things that want to eat. But because I do have row crops, I do owe it to myself. You know what? I'll plant some in here, and then I'll put some directly in the ground, and we'll see. That'll be a test, right? Just to um, see how it does. And I just want to get rid of all these seeds. This year, I'm totally okay with what may not sprout. If you sprout, you want to hang out, let's hang out. So I'm gonna ignore everything except for the planting. That's about an inch to 2 inches. And for this, it's really like once it comes up, it's once the roots start growing. I do like. I just purchased this year. Like I said, I got this on sale. I like the fact that you could pop these out and reuse them. So it looks like a good design, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Question is, do I just do half and half, or do I just go bold? Because I did want to do some sunflower seeds, but I have to. All right, let's just my near my chicken. If you just join the stream, nice to meet you guys. Essentially, just hanging out, talking, chatting, getting another seed tray filled in with some seeds. If you guys are planting anything, you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. My shed, if any of you have watched within the last week, I did post a video about me making a pad for my garden shed. Now, my garden shed finally came. And I finally made a decision, which was the hard part. Hey, Katie. I made a decision, which was the hard part. That's for me. That's the hardest part. Building, easy. The work, easy. Lifting stuff, moving stuff around, easy. The decision, hard. So I made a decision. I got some buy-in from my wife, so that was really helpful. And I'm happy with my decision. They said it was gonna come between the 11th and the 13th. It came today. what is that called? Under promise and over deliver. So kudos to you, Wayfair. I'll be so excited to put that together tomorrow and holding myself to it. All of these tools that I leave around and have not taken great care of, even though I'm prepared. I'm prepared. It's two things when I think about my tools, right? The first thing is I understand why, let's just say, grandpa's tools. I understand why grandpa's tools look the way they did. It's rusty, and I get it. I get it. I absolutely get it. It's not even a controversy at this point. One time, actually, my one of my closest teammates, K Dog, he called me yesterday. We had a great conversation yesterday, and one time I was actually gonna film a video for my one of my other good teammates and friends, and we wanted I forgot what you would call it, but it's like a weight. Whenever you want a camera to take away the shakes, I know that we're all like handheld on the phone now, but if you could think, you know, a real handheld device, phone without digital stabilization, you're gonna have a lot of movement. And the way to counterbalance that movement is with weight. So I I don't think this might be before I cared to get information from YouTube, and we I got like some sort of, and now I understand it. I got like a brass pipe and kind of finagled and then got a cap for that brass pipe, and then we drilled the hole through the cap, and then we threaded a screw. I'm thinking backwards because I actually know what I did now. Then I didn't know what I was doing. And we threaded it, and we had a hook at the bottom of it, and then I feel like I had, I don't know, at this point it's kind of gray, but I know I had like a weight that was hanging from the bottom of it. So think of a pole with a weight at the bottom, and then the camera was mounted on top. So when I'm running with the camera, I'm literally running with the camera, and you don't feel it move. And I made it. Now the reason why I brought that up is because when it came to the drilling of the hole through the brass, which the way we did it made absolutely no sense. But my friend K Dog, the only drill we had access to was this old electric drill. Hey Rita. Right now I was just doing some more. I did some kohlrabi, um, some Swiss chard, and some lettuce. I'm just going for making my rolls a lot more dense than they are right now. And I'm gonna cut out some of the things that aren't working. I just put some corn in here. We'll just, we'll see what it do. I'm getting a lot of traffic, a lot of wabbits. Um, they look cute. I don't know enough about them to know that it's a bad thing. But I was telling you about habitat. It's all my fault, and I can write uh, a schematic about what I did, and if I don't change what I did, there's gonna be more rabbits. I could tell you right now. I've probably seen about 4 or 5, but a very subtle. Um, Man, they need to hire me to breed some of this stuff, because when I say I understand, so here's what it is, and I think I'll show you guys. I built this, and I'm probably gonna rebuild it and make it a lot smaller. But I built this. This was corn, by the way. I built this mobile chicken coop because everyone on YouTube has one. Right? This is like years ago. I wasn't posting anything about it, but mine had to be nice. It had to be amazing, and it is. It is amazing. Uh, it has cedar siding. It's reclaimed material, so it's not that I spent money on it, but it has cedar siding, and I've never really filled it up with chickens. I used it as a secondary coop when I had old hens that I didn't want to harm the younger hens. Oh yeah, I don't even consider. Yeah, I get you. Yep. Right. No, for real. And I don't. I actually don't. I don't mind it. With it. With I guess the only point with the rabbits is up until the rabbits, I've been pretty comfortable with knowing what's there, who's there, why they there. If I don't want them there, how I approach it. Rabbits is new territory for me. Um, so I made this coop, and because I'm working on my chicken pen system and the hen that I had that went broody, I went and I put the hen in there. So everything is kind of like tight where I want it, right? And that's a good thing. But the weeds grew up underneath it, and the pen, the coop is right next to the pen. What makes the pen interesting is that the way I designed it was so that the chickens could have access to it. At some point, I'm gonna just let the chickens get access to it like early morning. It's gonna be an automatic system. The door opens up, the chickens go into the pen, and they could get greenery early in the morning, and sort of be. I ain't gonna say free ranging, but they gonna be ranging, right? So, but in order to do that, you have to make it enough, predator proof enough, right? If the predator could get in there, he deserves it. So I think what occurred was my rabbit population must have had some rabbits, but the rabbits were smart enough to be in an area where they could be protected from predators. So between going underneath my chicken, my mobile coop, and the chicken pen, and I say this because I see them hanging around there all the time. Like we're almost at a point where they're not afraid of me. We're chill. We talk. We get on. And I watched the rabbit go through a hole this big, and I was like, oh my god. I realized how there could be hundreds of these things at this point. If if I don't, granted, I like having them. They eat. They go in my garden. They don't always like eat up. That I could tell what they want though. They tore my spinach down. they tore my spinach down. Um, but yeah, they also eat the weeds, and I'm growing like unintentionally but intentionally. There's a lot of clover, red and white, or I guess purple's called red. There's a lot of clover, and that's what you see them eating, and they're just feasting. And I like for the clover to grow up enough because the bees are everywhere. So, I mean, I feel bad for people who think they're getting pollinators and then they cut their whole lawn. They don't get time for the bees to stop by and say, "What's up?" You know? Like, have some diversity in there. So, I know, Rita, you were saying about the crabgrass and all of that. Like, yeah, I mean, have some diversity there. And so that's what I'm a believer in that, but I have to do more research or just be more observant. I do want to cut back some of the areas that are closer to the house because I'm starting to see the squirrel population. And the squirrels, I ain't gonna lie, the squirrels a little, they just have like a tough look. The chipmunks don't bother me. The squirrels, they got a little tough look, like it's their territory. Um, I saw one jump off the house and land in my elderberry. Like, what was you doing up there, player? I don't even understand. What's up there? So they just look like they up to no good. Um, but yeah. Okay, so I got this one, that one. I got all these seeds from over the years. Um, I just want to I want to make sure that I have stuff that's gonna grow. They take all your stuff. We when oh, I'm glad you said that because I wanna grow some stuff that the squirrels were very crazy about. But what my mother-in-law did, yeah, you remember the one throwing stuff? Yeah, these right here, the butternut squash, and they didn't bother them right until they got ripe. And once they got ripe, they bothered them. And my mother-in-law came with she took some of our Scotch bonnet peppers and she made a pepper spray out of it. And yeah, no, the one throwing nuts at me. I'll tell you about that in a bit. That'll happen in the fall because I actually just started seeing black walnuts when I was driving. So I was like, oh, it's black walnut season. Um, oh, you figured out how to help? So for me, we used a pepper spray and we would spray like a, just I don't know if it was just water and pepper. I gotta ask her what she did, but we sprayed a pepper spray and the squirrel never came back. Never came back. Um, but they're for me they're free to be here as well. I don't stress it. I don't stress it. My chickens are they're the first class citizens out there, and as long as they're not bothered, then I'm okay. I've been seeing the rabbits in my chicken pen. What is one thing that is telling me, and it's not hard to understand this. In my head, at the end of the hunting season, I don't hunt, but I'm aware of it because when I go to Tractor Supply, everything is discounted. So I always see. At one point, I was like interested in microgreens, and I always see these big, huge packs of the deer seeds, where they have like a bunch of mixes of brassicas and they're very fast growing. Is to attract deer. When I say I can get a whole tub of like turnip seeds, all different types for like $10. Like I mean a massive amount. So what I'm thinking is since that's what I use to seed the chicken pen, I think when I seed the second one, which I'm probably gonna do soon, because it just takes a good amount of time to grow. Especially I'm not going crazy watering it. But I think that what I planted there is attracting the whole gang. I think that it's speaking more to a wild situation, um, and the animals are kind of happier to be there. So the sad thing is the only people haven't been able to test it out is the chickens because it hasn't grown up enough. Because they'll go in there and they'll do damage. Because chickens are they are terrible. They will tear your stuff up fast. So yeah. So I want to get another tray going with this. Hopefully I got enough soil. I'll probably have to wet that and do that later. But I hope all is well with everybody. Um, Katie, I didn't forget. We do have to party. Rita, I made 500 subscribers. Um, I just on the honest tip from me, it's a weird thing with milestones. I made an analogy about getting married, and I said, "Does your marriage feel different the day after your marriage or the day before?" Thank you so much, Rita. It's like it's the same damn thing. The day after the wedding or the day before. And I feel that's how I kind of feel like, you in these scenarios, you're only as good as what you've done lately. And I got to get back to like, I got to get back in a groove. And that's really where the focus is. I got to start doing more on camera, like actually doing stuff. So, but yeah, it was cool just to see. Now I don't have to whine to myself about what's not working, what's working. That's a good feeling. But the mission is not over. Um, we got to keep it going, keep it going. So, all right, I'm gonna turn in. I still gotta. I did get home late. My niece does you. Um, I would say to answer your question, Rita, just I like reading it out loud. Does your garden feel more peaceful to you or more stressful to you? When the garden is at a garden state, is very peaceful. But I would curve that and say I don't think that's really gonna change for me because the peace for me is seeing the relationships, which it's not really a gardening thing to me. It's just interacting with different textures. And I'll give you an example. My in my front yard, I have this it's mostly perennials, right? I have a few currants, my goji berry. Actually, I gotta check on my goji berry because it was doing good and doing bad. I want to get rid of a ton of comfrey because it's taking over. There's a bed where I let mint go wild. Nanking cherry, um, Jerusalem artichoke, bush cherry. I now put some herbs out there, and then when I start adding the weeds in, we're talking some thistles, some horseweed, definitely mugwort, and I take it back every now and then. It's in the shape of a tree. If you look at the pattern from above, it's in the shape of a tree and the paths. It's so cool. I wanna show and document like that aspect of it. But it's so rich and vibrant that it kind of is a war. It's always a competition. But when other people would look at it, they don't see that because they're gonna see like the work that's involved to reclaim it. Now there is work involved to reclaim it, right? There is, but the work is always gonna be there. So I'm learning and like it's observation, documentation, and So I'm always at a moment of peace when I have time to just observe and to just get better at something, even if it's like so subtle. I love growing annuals, but I would say I still have a need to want to commit to the perennials that just don't and won't take much work. That will kind of just feed you. And annuals just they take a lot more work. But yeah, I think I'm at peace in the garden. I don't get enough time. When I wasn't working full time, you couldn't tell me nothing. My mother in law was telling me my tomatoes looked like they was out of a magazine. I was letting my head swell. You couldn't tell me nothing. But not having the time now to do that, the flexibility, it is a lot harder to see it that way. But we'll keep it up from a permaculture perspective. In my front yard garden, the next big thing for me is to get, ironically, is to get uh, rose colored shades. I was sitting down one day and I started going with this technique that was actually working for me. And like when you do weeding, we are we're violent weeders, right? Like you can knock everything out. I'm more of a person because the weeding hasn't helped. Every time I go into the ground and pull up soil, I'm actually I feel like I'm hurting myself because if I base it on the results, right? So what am I doing? Well, I'm potentially allowing the seed bank to, percolate and get into an environment to where it's going to prosper. So this one day, I was like, I actually could see the subtle differences between all of the greens out here. I do this weird thing where I'll cover my eyes and then I'll close my eyes and I'll sit and the sun will be like directly on my eyes. And when I open my eyes back up, my color palette is distorted and I could see more definitive colors in each thing. So it's just not looking at a field of green, right? So it's like layered textures that you see. And I started going in like a rabbit hole of, huh, so I'm gonna start targeting certain weeds. So mugwort is no, I shouldn't say mugwort is enemy number one. I would say thistle is enemy number one. I don't have a desire to cook thistle, right? And if it grows in places that I don't walk by, I'm okay with that. And then mugwort. So if you have this bed and all this other stuff seems to be doing great, but the mugwort and the thistle is so bad, I wanted to put on a pair of glasses that could and I'm not talking augmented reality. I'm not talking about anything digital. I'm talking about something that would stress the subtle differences in color so that I could be faster about targeting that particular color, that shade. Oh yeah, no, no. I see what you're saying, Rita. No, not me. Yeah. No, no, I'm more aligned with what you're saying. And I see it as just like a life. It's just my lifestyle. I don't have much of the social time because I work from home. I don't get outside the house as much. So when I'm talking to my chickens. I'm talking to the plants in the garden, and it's definitely not, that part is not stressful for me. It Not having enough time is what bothers me, and it's not, that's not just about the gardening. It's about fixing things and fixing the house, and it's just time, and just wishing that I had hands at times so that I could speed up some of the things that I'm doing. But there's a ton of progress to be happy about. Like I said, I don't know if you heard, but I just finished building this pad where my garden shed is going. The thing came today. It's literally in a box. It should take me a couple hours to put together tomorrow, and then I'm, for the first time in 5+ years, I'll have a more of a better storage system, and we'll see if that just helps me maintaining not my new garden, because it's easy to go new, but the real garden, the one that is fenced in, and it's so lush though. I don't understand why I look at it like that, but it just wants to grow. It just wants to grow. You be on videos too. Thank you. It is so lush. I love favoring the stuff that wants to grow. So, but yeah, I want to be better about organizing my tools. Um, and I think that's the way. I think I'm on the right path. So it when it comes out, it's just because in the day to day, things don't move as fast as you want them to move. So sometimes I sound like I'm dragging with, all the progress. But in reality, I'm in awe, but I think I'm always coaching myself. Like I'm always not good enough. Thanks for saying it's beautiful though. Yeah, man, when it's all said and done, I know I'm gonna be like, man, I did this, but it's not over. I wanna figure out one of the things that has to that I'm looking to be very motivated about finishing what I need to finish here is because I have dreams of purchasing property down south, and I want to just be. I don't want to put myself in the same scenario where the overwhelming aspect of it, maybe you took on too much and it's your problem to fix, right? So, but I do want land. I want land to experiment and explore with permaculture. I want to get closer to some of the fruits that I can grow down south, and just seeing different scenarios. Yeah. No, it will get done, but I think, yeah, that's a hard one for me, because when you have kids, it's, I could judge my progress based on their age, and it definitely feels like I've expired some conversations in order to be successful at where I wanted to be, and I wanted them to embrace with certain things. So I do take that hard, and there's some, is every decision is not a great decision, and I'm honest, but it's just the way I work. I mean, I play basketball, right? I used to play basketball. I played Division 3 college ball, and it's interesting how I'm unbothered, and I've proven this in my professional life. I've proven this as an athlete. My motivation of playing has nothing to do with what's going on in my head, because I understand that the two are kind of separate. That you still got to get up, and you gotta keep it moving. Some people are just in their head because they just, like, I'm a deep thinker. I don't. I'm not a subtle thinker at all. You could miss me with that. There's a there's a reason. There's a connection. Like I have to, and I'm working through. I was a perfectionist, and I've had to work my way, realizing that that's just not it. But I'm definitely I'm a deep thinker, and I could say, it's not the best trait. I could tell you this: it saved my life. So I don't know, I don't know how to not appreciate the fact that I have depth in my thoughts, and I'm also here. Falling asleep. Sorry. Watch it later. Katie, have a good night. Tell Tom I said what's up. Um, but yeah, it's for me the I've been in rooms, I've been in scenarios where you have people, and that's kind of why when we get in here, when you come and read it, Katie, Mick the Pig, Brother Eric, it feels like the community that I once was around, where there wasn't a need to overthink because you could learn from other people. You could learn about what other people are doing. Other people are interested, and they take care and their approach to you. You know, um, look at the differences between our garden situations. I'm not gonna pop out and say what just because certain things don't work for me, and say you need to do this. And I feel like not enough people want to meet people where they are and be a little more cautious about like how you interact with people, because ultimately it's lucky to get into. A lot of us have friends that we didn't start off on the best footing. Sometimes those are some of the best friends to have. But that's a lucky scenario. That doesn't I wouldn't teach that. I wouldn't say go start a fight with somebody so that you could become friends. Like that doesn't make sense. Um so I don't know, I think deep, and when I'm watching somebody's stuff, Rita, when I watch his stuff, when I watch Brother Eric's stuff, I give it the care that I would hope somebody's looking at mine, and it's not about uh, the entertainment value. It's really not. It's like I want to know how did this person get to this point. That's the story. What built their story. It's like I'm reading a story, and that's a deep thing, right? That's not something subtle. So yeah, I mean, but I've found a way to be better about some of the things. Decisions become very hard when you think too deep. And I've definitely found a way to push myself through decisions so that they could be made, and we don't get blocked. The pad that I made last week, that was a part of it. I literally, and the pad that I made the week before that, right in front of the chickens, I put five options on the table. Five. I could do any one of them. It wasn't a cost thing. I have, I have a surplus. Um, Night Rita, I have a surplus of materials. Um, so what's gonna tip the balance, one or the other, right? And is ultimately I felt something, and it was in here, and I just went with it, and I didn't stop. And the first sign of doubt, I just said no. But you made it, because remember when you felt that thing and it was right here and you felt it and you had to move forward with it, and you got to stop being here all the time, and sometimes you just got to be here. So that's what I did, and it's been working. So we'll figure out the deep thought. Um, well, thanks guys for hanging out with me. We got something planned. We'll see. We'll see how it grows. I think we'll be okay. I'm gonna finish. I gotta put some water on this because I didn't like how I felt this. Pretty dry. I mean, it's kind of sitting in water, which which could go both ways. At least I could pour the water out. But thanks for hanging out with me. I'll at you guys next time. Peace. Check out some of my content. Always, please leave a comment. I'm super interactive, and I will get back to you. Peace.